we're not going to stand for Mark Sanchez heckling us here during this segment, are we? He is on the set causing trouble, but we'll go to the Indianapolis Colts, Cowherd. Let's start with them. Talk about a dumpster fire. They brought in Matt Ryan, started 3 different quarterbacks, fired Frank Reich, hired Jeff Saturday, and ended with 4 wins. GM Chris Ballard, he's taking the blame.
Look, I failed. I'm not going to sit up here and make excuses. Failed a lot of people. I mean, looking back, on it, when you're changing quarterbacks every year, it's tough. It's tough on everybody.
If there's a quarterback in this draft that you think is that guy, would you move heaven and earth to get him? Would you go up to number 1?
Yes, I do whatever it takes. If we thought there's a player that we're driven to get that makes the franchise and the team better, that's what we would do.
Well, all 3 of the young guys have potential, so I think it shows. Ballard's more than capable. I think what it shows is when you have an impulsive owner and your quarterback retires early, this league gets really hard for smart people, even smart people. So, if Andrew Luck was playing today, we wouldn't talk 1 second about the GM. We don't talk about the GM much. When McVay's rolling or Shanahan, we don't talk about John Lynch because the coach.
Look at these starting quarterbacks. They changed quarterbacks in Indy like I changed my socks.
Okay, but look
Honestly. Look at this.
They made the playoffs with Phillip Rivers.
They did.
And they've been about 500 without Andrew Luck. So they're doing everything they can. Most of these moves, I'm not a big Matt Ryan fan at this point in his career, but I got the move.
I like the move. Yeah.
So again, it's the old. What's the old Mike Tyson line? Everybody's got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Right.
Everybody's got a brilliant game plan until Andrew Luck retires suddenly. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, we're not genius. You can't. This morning, it's funny how Sean McVay, when Matt Stafford got hurt, Sean McVay can't win in as many games, isn't it? Isn't that funny how that works?
I don't know. Is there a lot of talent on this roster outside of, I like Pittman. I didn't think he had a great year. The running back Taylor's good, Quentin Nelson, but name 2 guys on their defense who are like, oh, that guy's really good.
DeForest Bruckner.
Okay, there's one.
Darius Leonard when he's healthy.
He's hurt all the time now.
I know. I'm just saying, I think the rosters, they have Pierce and Pittman, and they have a young, is it Jelani Woods, the tight end?
Okay.
Interesting player. I think they need another receiver and a quarterback, and we wouldn't talk about the GM.
They're looking way up at the Jets in the AFC, that's for sure.
Well, let's slow down there, cowboy.
All right, let's get to the next story. Seattle Seahawks won on Sunday. It's going to cost me a haircut here in short order.
Wow.
But they still needed the Lions to beat the Packers to make the wild card. Now Seattle has a matchup with the Niners, who I think have won 10 straight. Covering machine, Colin. Pete Carroll had an amusing response to how everything played out on Sunday. Here's what.
Niners, it's not just great players. Yeah. It's these guys have been in the league. They're all. Kittle's a Hall of Famer. Trent's going to be a Hall of Famer. McCaffrey has an argument for a Hall of Famer. These guys have been around the league. They've been in these big games over and over and over. Shanahan's been in big games over and over and over. This is a tough road for
I'll
Seattle.
say Fox Bet has this at 9.5. It was 10 earlier this week.
I would bet Seattle. Too many points. Seattle will be competitive. You got to beat a team 3 times. Pete Carroll's got all the momentum. Pete Carroll can say, guys, he's got
all the momentum because Baker Mayfield threw a dumb interception in overtime? Is that how he has momentum? Colin,
I doubted Pete Carroll the first 3 months of the season.
I looked this up. 2 meetings with the Niners. They got into the red zone twice. That's it.
Well, that's because the Niners are great.
Yeah, so what? Is this going to be TCU, Georgia?
No, God, no. Come on.
All right, let's move on to the third story. Arizona Cardinals heading into the offseason with major needs. Anyways, we'll get to it in a second. But the major concern is the next head coach. Arizona owner Michael Bidwell spoke with the team about how it will go about the search and Kyler Murray's involvement in the decision. Here's what the owner had to say.
Do you want them to be more of a CEO instead of, like you said, it didn't matter if it's offensive or on the defensive side, but do you want them to call plays, or would you like them to be more of that overarching role where they have a coordinator on each side?
I think I think it depends on the exact person, and I don't want to have any cookie cutter idea about what that model is and what works best. But it's really going to be about, and that's why the preference is to have the GM on board first, so that they can help with the evaluation of who the best coach will be and what that style is going to be.
This is not a.
You could go Dan Quinn and get a guy that comes in and says,
Dan Quinn's really taking that job. Come on. No way.
Well, it pays $5 million a year. How many of those jobs are available?
You're chasing money to get fired in, 2 years?
Well, there's no. I mean, I'm saying I am for hiring offensive coaches, but in this instance, I think you can make an argument. You bring in Dan Quinn, been to a Super Bowl. He fixes the defense. They become more run-oriented, and they don't become as Kyler-dependent. This is what the Niners do, by the way. They're not quarterback-dependent. Arizona now is too quarterback-dependent, and Kyler's personality concerns me. By the way, 2 years ago, Matt LaFleur wanted to make the Packers less quarterback-reliant. Why? They didn't know if Aaron's going to play. There are certain I'll make the Chargers quarterback-reliant, the Chiefs, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Buffalo. Like, I understand it. In their prime, amazing players. Kyler's personality worries me. I think they need to get the defense right, the run game right, and in 2 years, re-examine the Kyler future with Arizona. Because I was all in on him. I got trepidation.
You're starting to back off Kyler. That's good.
A little bit.
In all honesty, this is not a good job at all. J.J. Watt, the defensive leader, leaves. All you've got is Budda Baker as your veteran there, holding together things with, Scotch tape. They have 6 offensive linemen entering free agency, Colin. 6.
Well, yes.
And they have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And they're paying Kyler. And DeAndre Hopkins, I'm sure you've seen the stories.
They're going to trade D-Hop. Yeah. They're going to get picks.
They better.
Yeah, and they're going to go.
There's a lot of good
tackles. A lot of good tackles in the draft.
By the way, I do radio shows all the time during the week. I had somebody say, "You think Sean Payton would take this job?"
No.
I was like, "Are you?"
No.
No way.
Answer is no.
Absolutely not.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not that I have it sourced.
Yeah. Maybe they'll pull Mark Sanchez in.
Sanchez
Jeff
be my
Saturday.
coordinator.
Sanchez might hire me as doing something on staff. I don't know, something.
I'll hire you. Okay.
I'm not leaving this show yet.
All right. Got a lot of options out there. All right, J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
In the NFL, baby, Fox Sports called the Seahawks-Rams last week. Seahawks-Rams was actually entertaining.
It was excellent.
Well, that was a great
Excellent
game.
Is he trying to leave and join my staff?
I know. God, listen to it. He's already...
My staff in Arizona?
Come on.
You want to be strength and conditioning? Sweet burn.
Okay.
What do we got?
Let's start. You had Rams Seahawks, and you know Pete Carroll. So let's just start with the Pacific Northwest. I'm sure you were asked this in your career with those good Jet teams. Can you beat a team a third time? I think it's really hard.
Really hard.
I do think San Francisco has so much built-in institutional intelligence with their players. They're not going to be too hyped. If they were all good young stars, you get a little fall in love with yourself. But is there a formula that Seattle could give them trouble, having watched Seattle?
Here's part of the issue is there's 2 times in the league, in my experience, and I think a lot of players would agree, but where guys are really thumping, where they really hit, is playoffs, wild card weekend, and the first day of the season, because you've had the pads on, you're tired, you're ready to hit another color uniform. So it's going to go in San Francisco. Levi Stadium is going to be rocking. All the juice you need is going to be right in that stadium, and it's going to be awesome. that plays so well into Coach Carroll's hands, because regardless of how it happened, right? He mentioned the Baker Mayfield pick, the penalties, the running into the punter. Was it a penalty? Was it not? It doesn't matter anymore, boys. We're in the tournament. Who cares? And right now, Seattle, in my opinion, is playing with house money.
Yeah.
They could have controlled their own destiny earlier in the year. And Pete, even when we were talking to him during the week leading up to the Rams game last week, was ticked about it. He was kicking himself for it. Like, man, we should really be driving the ship here and in control of our own destiny, not waiting on a, Detroit watch party. But here we are. So the third time you play a team, I mean, you got plenty of tape to coach from.
Sure.
They got to keep it close. They're going to have some sort of special teams play. It's got to be an onside kick. It's got to be a fake punt that gives them a free set of downs. And, I mean, once again, you're just playing